Hello, hello, hello. Welcome to Errogie Music live on the 25th of May 2025. My name's Adam Sutherland, and if you've tuned in to watch this for the first time, this is all about learning to write your own tunes, which is in my case mostly Scottish sounding because I'm Scottish, but this is, I think, equally applicable to Irish music traditions, other world music traditions, and actually the world of melodic composition really is just an umbrella for lots of genres of music. I mean, what kind of music doesn't have any kind of tune to it? Well, I can actually think of some types, but I'm not going to get too catty, but it's my YouTube channel. But no, anyway, so classical music, country and western. Tune writing, melody, there's certain things that are just common and work across all genres, I reckon. Will you excuse me if I have a sip of my tea? And I'm going to start off by giving you a little bit of advice, which is this. If you are someone who is going to maybe have a YouTube channel that does live streams regularly, then here's what you should not do. Is you shouldn't go out with some pals you haven't seen for several years all weekend and then come home and expect to be exceptionally good crack live on the internet. I would just going to give that out to you out there in case there's anyone out there who's thinking about doing that. Don't do that. Right? Okay, so here we go. I have told you about a cool rhythm to use to write a jig. This is actually what I call jig clave number 1. If you don't know what a clave is, it's a type of instrument in like South American music. There's 2 of them, and they're little wooden cylinder shaped bits of wood, and you hit them off each other, I think cupping your hand to give a slight resonant chamber effect, I think. And in a lot of South American music they have these cool rhythms that are just like staples of that music, and I think it's great to learn some of these rhythms as well as other ones on the fiddle or whatever instrument you're doing, but just to have them in your kind of larder or your laboratory or your menagerie of your mind, have them there. And so this week I'm going to introduce you to jig clave number 1, and then we're going to just muck around and make stuff up with it, because rhythm is a massive part of melody. Obviously slower pieces are less what you might call rhythmic, but they still have rhythm. Faster tunes, jigs, reels, they got rhythm. So you can start setting yourself up for writing a cool tune melodically by starting off with a cool rhythm. I keep saying rhythm. Rhythm. So here we go. I'm going to introduce you to jig clave number 1, and you should be seeing that on your screen right now. I'm going to kind of poke up above it. As you can see, there's only one note in terms of one, like it's just A. And if you read music, this will be handy for you. If you don't read music, that's okay, but you'll see it anyway. Just tuning my fiddle. So when you have rhythms that are syncopated, and when that happens, you'll often see that there's what you call like a tie, and you can see it kind of just down there and then there and then there. You can see the second and third note of each bar is tied together. I think the best way to get the hang of being really funky with syncopated rhythms and accurate is to first of all learn the rhythm without the ties, and then add the ties in. I'll show you what I mean. Alright, so I'm going to play this really, really slowly, just these 4 bars without the ties. So there's nothing funky about that. Dum, 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 dum. Repeated. Now, I'm going to tie together the second and the third note, but I'm still going to think of them in my head as being two separate notes. I'm just going to do them in one bow. What I'm not doing is going da da, just kind of blah. It's like da 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 da. No tie. Tie. Okay, now you should have, if you're tapping your foot, doing that, a foot tap happening right in the middle of those two notes are tied together. So anyway, just recapping, we're going, then tying together the second and the third notes, but still thinking of them as two separate notes. Da 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 da. That's just the way that works best for me getting into playing syncopated rhythms of all types of syncopated rhythms. Take away all the ties, play it in a really boring way, then put the tie in, but still think of them as two separate notes. I think I've said that probably enough times now. Okay, so this doesn't sound funky at all when it's a bit slow. It just sounds robotic. Let's speed it up a bit. Also, hello, Gavin. Hello, Eric. And hello, 10 other people who are watching silently. You are allowed to watch in silence. You don't have to say a single thing. However, it is nice to get some chat, so feel free to chuck in some comments. Right, I'm going to play this jig clave number 1 rhythm a little bit faster. Are you ready? And you'll hopefully hear how it just kind of comes to life a bit. I wonder if I should get a wee metronome on the go. What do you think, guys? Anyone never played with a metronome? Anyone not played with a metronome? I don't know if you're going to hear this or not. I'll turn it up. Right. Right, that's it, a little bit faster. And what you might have also just noticed I was doing there was I was just mucking around with the rhythm. That's what I'd like you to try. Get the hang of the rhythm first of all, with nothing notey, no note changes. With a metronome is the superior way, it really is. And then just muck about with it. You could even do your scales and arpeggios. That sounds a bit like a pop song. And it was dun 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 dun. I'm probably going to get copyright strike if I start singing that anymore, but you may have recognised which bit of a pop song that is. Okay? Try it. Try it at home. Try it now if you're watching with your instrument. Then the next thing you can do is just start to change little notes here or there. Again, that's just up to you. What do you feel like doing? I was playing an A major. It could be any key you want. We could go for a different key. We could like E minor. Okay, what else was doing there? Anyone notice I was just not sticking to that rhythm 100% of the time. So just using that rhythm for a whole tune might be a little bit overkill. There's all that, so you can maybe just change it a wee bit. What did I do there? I did 3 bars of do da ba da ba ba da ba da da and then da ba da ba da. What was the 4th bar I did? A different rhythm. And it's not funky, it's not syncopated. Dum ba da ba dum. It's just wah bum bum bum. So the main emphasis in that phrase is on the beat. That's not funky. Syncopated rhythms have emphasis that are kind of either side of the beat. Not funky, whereas is funky because you're putting a stronger emphasis not on the beat but just before it. So 3 bars of funky rhythm. So that's another thing. You can start off with this funky rhythm, but a little bit of a change, and it's a contrasting change I did because it's not another funky rhythm. It's like the opposite. It's and just to make you really aware of how unfunky that rhythm was, imagine the whole tune was just that is not funky at all. But if you have one of those non-funky, really on the beat phrases, one of those after 3 funky phrases, suddenly it's like really satisfying. That's it. Okay, question. Eric, 3/8. Question mark. Are you asking me if what I was playing was in 3/8, or are you asking me, can you do something in 3/8? Or give me a little bit more information so I can be helpful to you there, Eric. Whilst I'm waiting for that, 6/8 is 2 groups of 3. Diddly, 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 or jiggity, 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 jiggity. 9/8, of course, an unbelievably cool time signature, is just an extra group of 3. 3 3s are 9. Jiggity, jiggity, jiggity. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a. Okay, so that's basically, I'm going to keep it a little bit shorter this week. That is my central message, partly because I might be slightly tired, but also because I want to just be really limiting what I'm saying to you this time. I'm experimenting. This is just one thing to think about. Take it on your own journey. And Eric has answered the last bar of the 4 you did. Yeah, the last bar was still 6/8. It was just there was 2 big beats, and each of those would be 3/8, but they would be contained within 1 bar, so that would add up to 6. I hope that makes sense. Okay. And again, you can try this with any key you like. You could even limit your options. You could just go, I'm not allowed to use most notes. I can pick some notes. Someone want to chuck in some notes for me to try. Pick a key. For some reason, I'm ending up in E minor here. By the way, this rhythm is a great thing to have in your arsenal for playing jigs. So many jigs can be made funky by just adding in this little tie. much just saying that if you or somebody plays jigs, you kind of need to be able to do this rhythm even just for your playing. Syncopation is harder to play in a slow tune. It is. However, there are examples of what I would say would be syncopated rhythms appearing in slow tunes, even though you would think that that would be daft. Gordon Duncan, the late Gordon Duncan, one of the most amazing composers to come out of Scotland and the world, I think, frankly. The Sleeping Tune by Gordon Duncan, masterpiece. I would like to do a longer video on the Sleeping Tune actually one day. But the second part of that, if you know this tune, or even if you don't know it. This rhythm if you sped that up, dum, 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 dum. It's a really funky rhythm. But you slow it down for a slow air, you don't get the funkiness, but it's still interesting. Okay. That's it. Yeah, I'm going to have to do a video on the Sleeping Tune. That's not what this video is about, though. This is just about getting the hang of jig clave number 1, which I'll put on the screen for you again. Mucking around is the best way to write tunes. Mucking around. Just muck about with that. And again, take away the tie. Okay, a couple more comments in the chat. Nice to see you here. Hello, Michael. Hello, Gavin. How's it going, guys? 4/4. Yes, I think if you're referring to the Sleeping Tune, you are quite right to point out that that is in 4/4, not 6/8. Thank you. I should have actually mentioned that, so grateful as always. Gavin, you've noticed sometimes when you get a tune in 6/8 with a bar at the end, where the notes are grouped into 3 beats, e.g. Big Aura by Iron Maiden. A syncopated fill, basically. Yeah, I think I know what you mean. I don't know the song by Iron Maiden that well, but it's essentially you're in one time signature. In this case, you're talking about 4/4, and also the Sleeping Tune, also in 4/4. Having groups of notes in clusters of 3s whilst being in 4/4 is basically amazing thing, and Gordon Duncan does it loads. Gordon Duncan was a huge fan of riffs. I believe he was an AC/DC fan, and you can hear in Gordon's music a lot. I think these polyrhythms, you can call them cross rhythms. A lot of them from South America. They populate his tunes often. And to great effect, and it's just this whole side of rhythm. There's so much good stuff in there for anyone playing music. Just even if you don't want to write your own tunes, go and learn these rhythms, and don't try and learn them, or don't expect yourself to learn them all at once. Just in case you were, just get the hang of one. And in this case, it's the jig, but there's so many. And it just it informs your bow arm if you're a fiddle player. It informs the grooviness of your playing. And when I started getting into this, I found it really difficult at first, and it was Alistair Fraser an incredible fiddle maestro from Scotland, now living in the States, who first got me into what he calls the 1/4/7 rhythm. Again, we're not in jig time here, so we are kind of digressing, but that's also just what tended to happen in my little spiels here. But he got me into doing the 1/4/7, where there's 8 notes, 8 quavers, and you emphasise 1, 4, and 7, and that sounds like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. But you're in 4, 4. I couldn't get that forever when I was in my early teens, and then I got it, and now I'm so hooked on rhythm that I think of myself as a melody player, as someone who plays rhythm first and foremost, and the tune or the melody is secondary to that. I think that's how I think of myself. I try to think of rhythm and to be in time as much as if I was a drummer. Drummers, obviously, they tend to be the ones who have the greatest expectation that they play in time, but I think as a melody player, or if you're a chord player, it's not a bad idea to try and put the same, I don't want to say pressure, but the same aim, to try and aim to be as groovy and as thoughtful about timekeeping as a drummer. And if you to think about playing music as a rhythm player and funky stuff, then if you do get into that world, first of all, I find it's just loads of fun, and playing the metronome or recording yourself to a click and trying to get groovy with that will help with that. But if you're rocking and you're funky with rhythm, the notes are almost just like the tune comes to life. Obviously there's other stuff to think about, like your tone and your tuning and stuff like that, but if your tune is grooving rhythmically, then the notes are awesome. It's kind of like supporting the tune from underneath. Whereas if you just think of top down, I'm a melody player and the rhythm can sometimes push and pull, that I think sounds weaker. And that's why I was asking you to play this jig rhythm, thinking about it without the tie. Because I'm thinking I want to be absolutely in time. First of all, so then it's a safer bet that you're going to be in time when grooving, when you do tie those notes together. Just let myself have a bit of fun there. Eric David's Newfound Harmonium Works Wonderful. Yeah, that's a funky tune. You played the mouth of the Tablik to get it today in a dotted fashion. Yeah. So any more comments, chuck them in. I would really love it if any of you took from this that this rhythm, first of all, is a good thing to just to get into your tune playing or your chord playing. And you can do that by like hitting things. You don't have to be playing an instrument. You can be just... I'm a big fan of just hitting chest, shoulders, anything. Build it into your playing. It'll help your tune playing. It'll help your playing if you're playing for a dance. And then also just try slapping some notes on this rhythm. I think I did change the last bar again, didn't I? Yeah, I've already been through that, haven't I? But yeah, the last bar is that. Okay, so I'm gonna just maybe take this for a bit more of a spin, and then probably call it a day there. And so because it's my wife's turn to go out now, and she's like, "Can I go out with my friends tonight?" And I think if I was to say to her anything other than that's absolutely fine, then I would be the biggest hypocrite on the planet. Okay. Hey Dream Angus, thank you. I am not firing on all my cylinders today, but I hope I have at least, despite all that, chucked out something maybe that might help. And hopefully this is fun. Wondering about trying this out on a jig like the Irish washerwoman. How does that go again? Is that the Irish washerwoman? Michael Bishop is telling Emma that I nicked that off the Roots Quartet. Okay, the Roots Quartet is an exceptionally beautiful sound. Check out the Roots Quartet, and do you know what? I think that... Oh, I see what I was just playing there. Yeah, it did sound familiar. So what you're seeing today is me struggling with writing something that doesn't sound like something else and failing to do that. But oh wow, it's suddenly going crazy rain. But also that's the process. I think it's important for me just to be like, warts and all, this is it, right? And also, like, yeah, it turns out that what I just wrote there probably did sound too much like something else, but also, so what? I don't mean so what, I'll churn it out there anyway, I'll see them in court. I mean, I'm I'm a lot better at this now, but now I don't get upset anymore. I'm just like, okay, that idea didn't work out. Chuck out some more. All right. The notes for the Irish washerwoman: E minor. Oh, those are chords. Yeah. But you make a good point, Dream Angus. Chuck out. Try this rhythm on as many jigs as you can. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's absolutely, as we say in the Highlands, hooring it down. Wow. Yeah. Okay. I think I'm just repeating myself. Let me know how you feel about any of this. No, Dream Angus, you do not have to say sorry. Not Scottish, the Irish washerwoman, but who? Yeah, it's a straight jig. Okay. I don't have to. This doesn't have to be just about Scottish music. And honestly, Scottish and Irish music, you will get people saying that they're not the same and they're different. But my personal opinion is that there's way more in common with Scottish and Irish music than there is that sets them apart. They're very closely related. I mean, they're playing jigs, we're playing jigs, they're playing reels, we're playing reels, we've got Strathspeys, they've got Highlands, slow airs, different piping instruments, loads of fiddles, Gaelic. I mean, maybe we're kind of just the same thing. Unpopular opinion. So, yeah, this jig rhythm will work in loads of Irish jigs. Maybe I should think of one. That's a bit of a jig called the Monaghan jig. The last two bars. Can become da 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 da. Okay, right, if there's no more chats, I'm going to crawl off this live stream and wish you all the very, very, very best. Thank you all for tuning in. If you're in the future, hello. Like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. Please like and subscribe. And come and say hi on my Patreon if you want to say hi there. That'd be nice to see you there. And I hope this has not been too confusing. And hope this has made sense. And yeah, you can always leave comments after this is over, and I'll try and reply to those as well, by the way. So thank you all for hanging out this evening. Thank you, Eric. Thank you, Gavin. Thank you, Michael. Thank you, Dream Angus. And thank you, everyone else who's just sitting there soaking this up in this soaking wet Sunday evening in May. So I'm going to say bye from me and bye from... well, it's just me, isn't it? Bye from my little shed somewhere in Scotland. And Errogie Music Live is now no longer live as of in about 3 seconds time. So thank you Gavin, thank you Michael, thank you all of yous. Have a great rest of your